Good evening, dear friends. In this year's 5th WIFTGR Film Festival, 50/50 Equality in Cinema, co-organized by Women in Film and Television Greece and the Greek Film Archive, with a collaboration of the Thessaloniki International Film Festival, we honor the great documentarist Kim Longinotto. We honor her contribution to the art of cinema, as well as her contribution to the fight against gendered violence and for the empowerment of women worldwide. Longinotto is recognizable for both her penetrating filmmaking and the choice of her topics that focus on issues of gender inequality, oppression, and exploitation through portraits of feminist resistance. As an observational documentarist, she avoids intrusive techniques, putting forward the voice and the presence of the women she films. Her choice to often co-direct her films can also be interpreted as a feminist practice. Kim Longinotto, dear Kim.
Hello.
Hello. On behalf of Women in Film and Television Greece, allow me to offer you the WIFTGR Award for Lifelong Achievement and an honorary membership to our WIFTGR.
Oh, thank you so much, darling. And even though I'm not with you in real life, I'm really with you in spirit. So it's really good to meet like this. I love Zoom. I just love the way, I'm in your room and you're in my room. It's fabulous. And thank you so much. I really, really value it.
And thank you so much for being here in this peculiar way, in this virtual way. So, as our rationale said, we are also very much interested and enthusiastic about your way of filmmaking, how your very filmmaking as a process constitutes a kind of feminist solidarity by itself. Could you tell us a few words about that?
I think what I do, Rea, is I'm attracted to stories. I don't personally, and we're all different, I don't like watching films about victims. It makes me very uneasy and very unhappy, where everything's terrible and everything ends terribly. So I tend to be attracted to making films about pioneers, about women who are changing the world, changing their worlds, taking risks, stepping out, these really wonderful, they're often what we would call ordinary women, women like you and me, but they do extraordinary things. They're sort of doing things much what their families don't want them to do often and what their societies don't want them to do. So I suppose in that, and the reason why it's practically always women is that if you look in our lives at the moment in 2021, the people that are pioneers are often women. I mean, you've got Greta Thunberg at the moment with how wonderful a schoolgirl sitting there and protesting, and it's often women who have more to lose and have more to gain by protesting. It's often men who have the power. But this is changing, I think, in Europe, I think in Greece as well, often in Western Europe now that men have become friends, they've become more equal, things are changing. But in a lot of the world, like in Afghanistan, for example, I mean, it just seems extraordinary that you have to fight to go to school. And there's another hero, is Malala, who actually risked her life to go to school. So there's all these stories everywhere. And even in our, what we like calling developed world, there's a lot of gender-based violence, the violence against women, violence against gay people, there's, and I think it's always women that are on the forefront of fighting these things. So I suppose that's how I choose my subjects. I read something, or I meet somebody, or I learn about somebody, and I sort of fall in love with them. And I think, actually, it's going to be fabulous to spend 3 months with this person. And if you're talking about practice, what I try and do, and the people I'm working with, if it's in another language, I really rely on the other person as well. We're doing it together. It's a team. We try and make it fun. We try and make it that the people we're filming feel comfortable with us, enjoy making the film, and have fun, that we can have a laugh. Because I think a lot of us really like to have a laugh together. Sometimes it's the only way to cope, when things get really bad. The only thing you can really do sometimes is just try and laugh about it, see the ridiculous side of it,
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a bit of a long answer.
It was perfect. I have fallen in love with your films and their characters there, but also the strange thing that you feel something like a pain in the stomach while also laughing.
Yes, yes. It's a weird sort of laughter, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a lot of the time, you know, like when we watch satire, you know, that's how satire works. They make you laugh, but it's a laugh of recognition, because you're recognizing something. It's a laugh of defiance. So you're laughing and you're saying, okay, you think you're so great, we're going to laugh at you. It's an extraordinary thing what laughter is. It doesn't mean you find it funny. It's different. It's a different thing than finding something funny.
Yeah, it can be a lot of different things, one of which is really revolutionary in the end of the day.
I agree.
Yeah. So one of the things that also appear in your films, which are quite complicated too, I must say, is that the oppression as well as resistance are issues that go cross borders of countries, of cultures, of classes.
Yes.
It is a very complicated net of oppressions and resistances.
I absolutely agree with you, Rea. And that's why when people sometimes say, oh, what does it feel like as an outsider? I think that's a kind of strange idea that if I go to Greece to make a film, I'm an outsider and everyone in Greece is an insider. It's a strange thing because, you know, gay people always feel like they're outsiders. Often poor people are outsiders. They're treated really badly. And, you know, every time you go in to make a film, you're an outsider. And if you're filming outsiders, which are these rebels and pioneers, you become a little team of outsiders together, facing the world, and it's just a lovely feeling, you know. So it's wherever I go, I find people that I feel that we're together in making the film. We're making the film together. I'm not making it about them, they're making it with me.
Yes, and we believe a lot in the solidarity of outsiders. In a way, we are all outsiders. There is no
exactly, Rea. I love you saying that. Exactly, of course we are. Yes.
So to close our so wonderful short conversation about Greek society, recently, our audience will probably think of that while we speak. We had quite a shocking number of genocides the last 2 years.
I know.
Really shocking number. I mean, it is unfortunately an old patriarchal tradition that we recognize even through fiction and culture, but being in the news so often, it is unusual and it is shocking. And we have also a rise in domestic violence because of the COVID.
In this country too, in this country, definitely, yes.
Yeah. And then again, we have the revelation of a series of rapes and harassments. You know, we had for the last year our own movement, Me Too movement, which revealed a lot of ugly things. And let's say the targets of this hatred are primarily women, but also people who choose different directions in their sexuality,
yes,
approach to gender. We also had a very shocking murder of a woman, a woman who identified differently her sexuality. She was an activist and was killed in a very brutal way, public way, when no one interfered to save her.
That's the worst thing, isn't it? That nobody interferes, nobody, you know. I wish we'd been there, Rea. We would have gone.
We all say that, but nobody who was there interfered. And this is the horrible thing. And then we have all these issues with the violence against the refugees. We lived in a very, very difficult times. So what would be your message to the Greek audience who have...
Well, you know what, Rea, we could talk for hours. There's so much to say. But I think you and I, we both know, all women know that rape isn't about sex. That's a complete ridiculous thing that people try and pretend it's about sex. I mean, I've been raped. Most women have had experience of either sexual assault or rape. And I experienced the rape as actually a very violent thing. It was a violent thing, and it was in a park at night, and there was a lot of them. And it made me realize that it's nothing to do with sex. It's to do with power. And all these things are to do with power. And it's a way for the people that are doing it to feel stronger, to make themselves feel stronger, you know, to make themselves feel better about themselves. It's a very strange thing. And I really hope that actually, if we all become more united and together, that when, you know, when anything happens on the street, I do notice it the other way, you know, Rea, that often if anything's happening on the street in London, if there's some of us around, we always go and help, we always join in, we always say, don't do that, or we, you know, there's far more evidences of people being kind and doing things to help other people. Sometimes I think we can get very depressed and feel very gloomy and think how horrible we are. We are terrible. Human beings are terrible. We're wrecking this planet, you know.
Yeah,
but also, we are terrible, but we have a great propensity for kindness and for good. And I see it all the time. You know, a woman fell down this morning when I was running back home to come back and talk to you, and everybody stopped and helped her up and got her shopping for her and walked her back to her house. So I think we've got to tell each other these things as well. So otherwise, none of us would get up in the morning. It would be too terrible, you know. We think, let the human race die out. But we do wonderful things, and we are, you know. And I think that's why it's for my own benefit, to be honest with you. I get so much from filming these wonderful women. They inspire me. They make me feel that life is worth living. And they whenever things are really bad, I think, oh, what would Salma do? What would Brenda do? She'd be fine. You know, they give me strength. So it's just such a privilege to film them, really.
Yes. So we focus on solidarity, and we will.
I think we must, and also including men in that, because there are, you know, we have to call them feminist men. It's a weird thing, but there are men. You know, I've got 2 housemates, and they're both fabulous, and they're silly, and they're interested in clothes, and we have a laugh, and you know. So I think also we can show that that's possible as well, that they can change as well.
Yes.
You know.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Bye, Rea.
Thank you.
And I'll see you on Saturday.
See you.